Hello, all members of the Hayden Club and all you out there who are interested in quantum mechanics. We will today talk about the difference between local reality and global reality. I will start to have a look-see into what is local reality. For simplification, I say that the view of local reality is the view of Einstein and the rest of humanity, or at least the Western world. And you can remember the breakthrough of Einstein that c, that is the speed of light, is the highest speed in the universe. That rule holds in local reality. So, what is then local reality? I just said it's the reality we all perceive to be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we know what it implies. So for clarity, I will have a look-see. You can think of a laboratory where you isolate something, an object A here. And you have a lab assistant, Homer Simpson, who I'm trying to draw here, B. B also is for Homer's brain, a small peanut inside. So he does an observation. And the idea of local reality, that observation can be remoduled and it can also be repeated. So why repeated observation will give an empirical truth. So you have a system here where localization has become the gold standard for what is true in physics or chemistry, I'd say biology as well, and many other subjects. So we need to understand this is a very good method. So it's not about the strength of the method, it's not about whether we should continue to use it or not. We are going to continue to use it, and it is a very strong method. What I'm implying today is more foundational. It is this reality? Is this how the universe works? Is local reality actually what drives the universe, the mechanism of the universe? And here comes the interesting part. We know for a fact, a proven fact, that it isn't. It is not true. Local reality has been proven to be wrong, despite the leniency of Einstein. Worth mentioning here is also his grand theory together with Podolsky and Rosen, the EPR. So it's one of those, how can you say, it was a way of trying to save local reality by implying that there is a hidden factor somewhere. Bohm, not to be confused with Bohr, call that the pilot wave. And I think that's maybe the easiest way to perceive it. It's a bit like das Ding an sich. There is something beneath everything, and that thingy, whatever that is, we might never know it, that rules the universe somehow. It gives us causality, it gives us determinism. So you can hear here, there is a lot at stake. We have causality, we have determinism, we have reductionism, all all these things are put on the card table in this gamble. Things that everyone perceives to be of the utmost importance. Causality, determinism, and reductionism. I think it would be fair to say this is what rules the world, especially this university where we're standing now. A belief that there is a mechanism to the world and it is somehow predictable via the natural laws. And do remember, the natural laws are ancient by now. Thousands of years it's been stipulated that are natural laws ruling the universe and upholding these important facets of reality. It's a lot of stake, but it's been proven wrong in global reality. So I'm going over to this side of the table and take a look again into what is global reality. In global reality, the foundational saying that everything counts, all relations in the universe, in the future, in the past, everywhere. Nothing can be excluded. And therefore, causality becomes very difficult to be upheld, and determinism and reductionism as well. Everything is intertwined. This has a fancy name, entanglement. And it means that, well, in a way, everything is just one thing. So we don't have different things. So there falls reductionism. And we can no longer predict via the natural laws the next occasion. We can't know what's going to happen next, only statistically. And statistically is of course no good, because it means that the outcome of anything in the universe is not determined by factors that existed before. Thereby, not only causality falls, but determinism and, of course, reductionism. We cannot understand the universe in itself by reducing things. We can use it as a method. For instance, building a bridge. That's quite all right. You can make chemistry experiments. You can do things in my own field. I'm an engineer. Machinery and all that stuff. This house, this very room we're standing here now, and the lighting, most of those things are actually made in view of local reality. So it works as a method, but it's not reality. There is a thin, distinctive, important difference there. So I've been trying here to draw all relations in the universe, which is of course impossible. These arrows, I have to be honest, they don't make any sense. They're not helpful, but it's just to give maybe an image that everything counts. So what is happening in the star Alpha Centauri counts for my blood pressure, for instance. What is happening in the enormous star of Betelgeuse, I think it's blue, that has importance for the working of my thermos. So prediction becomes something completely different. And actually, we need to put the natural laws in epoche, as Husserl would say. They are not true, they're not real, they're not foundational. We can use them, but as long as we understand that they are just a model, they're not in reality. I will talk a little bit about the history because it could actually shed some light into what global reality is by showing how these poor guys been striving to uphold the local reality. One of those lovely chaps is John Bell, the Northern Irish Belfast physicist, who tried to find the pilot wave by calculation and experimentation. And he proved it to be wrong. So he paved the path of something that later was closed by the 3 Nobel Prize winners of 2022. Alain, Anton, Zeilinger, and a third one, John Clauser, an American. So here is the final, outmost, clearest proof of that local reality is not true. Proven fact. It's a bit harder to understand what we have instead of local reality. But we don't, we certainly don't have this. This is not the working of the universe. This we can be for sure. Whatever this is, that's another question. I will try to give you some hints. Entanglement was looked upon with experimentation on the islands of Tenerife and I think it was La Gomera or La Palma in the Canary Islands by the Austrian physicist Anton Zeilinger. And he showed that when he put his telescope to the furthest point in the universe, I think it was pointed to something called a quasar. It's a scary object. It's a radio star, I think it's called. So it just gives out radiation. So that he pointed one telescope to the east and he pointed another one to the west. And oddly enough, at the furthest points into the universe that we can fathom or reach, it still was proven that all particles were entangled. So what is entanglement? Well, if you look at this pen, it has 2 sides, one with a top and one bottom side. At the instance one photon is changed or one particle is changed to go upwards like this, the other entangled particle will immediately go downwards. And there's this change here in this particle, this one will change immediately, thereby violating the rule of Einstein and classical physics. There is no higher speed for transformation of information than the speed of light, because this is literally immediately. And although the distance is crazy, we are speaking about millions of light years. I hope you know what a light year is. A light year is like a regular year, but with less calories. No, it isn't. A light year is the distance that is passed by light under 1 year is quite far. The speed of light multiplied by all the seconds, minutes, and hours, days of a whole year. So it's a pretty long distance. It can't be walked. For comparison, you can think the time light takes from our sun in our solar system to come to Earth is, what do you say? What do you think it is?
8 minutes.
Yeah, right, great. It is 8 minutes. And it's pretty far to the sun. We can't even go there by rocket. I mean, I think it would take, like, I don't know, very, very long time. So, to the sun, then can you imagine what is a light year? It's pretty far away. So this is now we're speaking of millions of light years. And still, they are connected. How on earth is that possible? The change is immediately. It is actually, this is actually violating everything we think about the universe. Nothing stands tall. I just pinpointed 3 aspects: causality, determinism, and reductionism. But it paves the way for a completely different understanding of the universe, or what time is, and definitely what is space. Because of entanglement, this is a harder point to understand, because of entanglement, space gets a completely different meaning. Because what does space mean? Well, space means the time to travel, for me to walk somewhere if I'm using my legs, or taking the bus as I did this morning, with almost fatal consequences. But if we don't have to travel any distance, if change is immediate, all of a sudden space doesn't mean the same thing. Space is the time light comes to your eye to give me information. Where is this weird thing situated? But with entanglement, it is not like that anymore, because information can come over immediately in the whole of the universe. No exceptions. There is no wonder that no one understood actually the point that Alain, Anton, Zeilinger, and John Clauser made when they said local reality ain't real. Because it's so utterly weird that everything is connected. It melts down that everything is just one singular thing, not different things. And that single thing is all relations in the entirety of reality. So that's what I mean when I say these arrows, they're not very helpful, because they sort of reinforce the idea that there are separate particles somewhere, or forces, or speeds, or photons. But there is, because of entanglement, there is no true separation between things. We cannot actually say that that thing is situated there. Listen again. We get a problem with space because the second use of space, apart from moving in space, is to place something. For instance, this chair is placed in the Cartesian perpendicular orthogonal x, y, z system. That's another use of space that gets heavily challenged by entanglement. Nothing is situated because of entanglement. It is perceived from a certain perspective to be situated very far away. When we look at it closer or more carefully, we understand that is not true. Things are not separable. What do we have instead? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I would say this as a starter, if we do this again. You could remember, we know what we don't have. This is proven wrong, and that has enormous consequences. What global reality is, that's something we have to learn to live with. Maybe we had to learn telepathy or something like that, or climbing mountains. I have no idea. It can result in anything. Maybe the people living in the Amazon, deep in the Amazon, in isolation, who never heard about local reality and of course never constructed their lives according to local reality because they don't have housing, they don't have transportation, machinery, and so forth. Maybe they are closer to global reality. Could be. It has also been speculated by the famed quantum physicist Alain. These people are actually living closer to reality, more in harmony, because we know that we we have mistaken, like Homer Simpson, the method for a reality. The method is okay. Do continue with this. But if you think this is reality, you will be as pea-brained as poor old Homer Simpson. And your mouth will be gaping like this, not understanding a single thing of reality. You will be blind in reality. Using the laws will not help you in your life. It will help you to build a bridge. It could even be helpful when you want to put a rocket on the moon or send a monkey into Venus. I think they did that, or was it the Russians? But it's not reality. So if you try to put this into other subjects, which has been done since the 18th century, disaster will erupt. You can speculate here, it will be too far for this presentation to go into that, but the copying of the method, mistaking it for reality into all subjects like sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, statistics, all, and especially use it for your own life. That is bound to fail, because it's not the true structure of reality. We can only use local reality in this very, very thin, let's say, this is reality. So, of course, another stupid drawing, but what can you do? The local reality can only be used in an infinitesimal small area of this reality when it comes to mechanical structure and so forth. The rest, here we should use global reality, whatever that is. I won't answer that question because we don't know. But maybe we can learn to live in it. And thereby we can learn to become more happy, and our choices will be reinforced by the true nature of reality. Because what Alain Aspect and Anton Zeilinger and John Clauser, together with John Bell and others, only to mention a few, discovered, that is the true nature of reality. This is how the universe really is. I say thank you very much. Thank you very much, Theo, for handling the video and listening. Bye-bye.